Welcome to Thinking Green. I'm Rana, and today, I think everyone who's watching knows that today happens to be Giving Tuesday, which follows up Black Friday and Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday. And finally, I mean, this is supposed to be a season of giving, so, almost a week after Thanksgiving, we're thinking about giving again. So this week, in keeping with the general theme we've been going along with starting last week and continuing through the end of December, is talking to people from local nonprofit organizations, because most of us have lots of stuff, and there are things we can do in this season that will really make a difference and make us feel better. So with that in mind, today I have two representatives from the Public Library of New London, Suzanne Marieski, who's the executive director, and Deneen Roth, who is the president of the Board of Trustees. And we're going to talk about the library, which is an institution that I think a lot of people value but kind of take for granted as well. So we'll get into everything the library does in depth. So welcome, both of you.
Well, thank you very much, Rana.
Glad to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we can start out, each of you can talk for a couple minutes about how you came to be involved with New London Library.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
Well, I can say briefly how I became a librarian. My first job was working at the Waterford Library in the summer reading program, and then it went on from there in college, working in the library, getting my library degree, etc. And my two jobs before I came to New London was working at Farmington Library and Madison, Scranton Library in Madison. And then when this job opened up, to come back home was great and be here. And it's been 5 years. I can't believe it.
Wow. Time flies.
Time flies, and there's such a long list of things I still want to do. But I love this job, and I love New London, and I want us to have the best library we can, given the constraints that we work under. And I think we've made a lot of progress under my watch, and we're going to make more. And you, Deneen?
Well, what happened to me was what happens to a lot of people who are in volunteer organizations. I had a teaching colleague call me up and say, have you ever thought about wanting to serve on the Board of Trustees of the Public Library? It's not very much work. I forgive her for kind of exaggerating the truth in that sense, but I'm glad to be a part of the organization. We've worked with some wonderful people, and we have a great director, so it makes it all worthwhile. But it is certainly a very active organization. It's not the days of Marion the librarian any longer.
Well, I think New London Library is, I don't think it's unique exactly, but since it's a little bit separated from city government, I don't know if it's more challenging or more empowering that the board really makes decisions.
Well, I think that you hit it on the head. It's a mixed blessing. We depend upon the city for, is it 85%, Suzanne?
About that.
85% of our operating budget, which is most of it. It's substantial. We have a very small endowment for which we use for capital improvements, and we have been steadily dipping into that because we have an old historic building that is always in need of attention, and there are always things that we're doing to maintain it. That is one of the things we try to do, so that it looks good, that it's safe, and that people can still appreciate that original beauty. And of course you see the arches that are kind of iconic in the city for it. So it is a mixed blessing. It also means that we have to prepare a budget for the city. It has to be submitted to the city, and it has to go through the whole budgeting process that way. So that becomes quite difficult sometimes, depending upon what the pressures are on the city budget. And as a New London resident, you know what I'm talking about.
Definitely. And things become very politicized, even if they're not inherently political things.
That's true. Everybody supports the library, but it's a very difficult thing to try to evaluate and put a dollar figure on, because there are so many things that we need in a city our size. There's always health and safety issues and education and all of those things. And we like to think of ourselves as an extension of the education system in New London.
So maybe we can talk about all the different services that libraries provide, and specifically the Public Library of New London to start with, because I think even people who do come into the library on a regular basis are probably unaware of everything that's going on there. So, other than books, or you can, including books.
Including books, but we could start with some things that
Sure.
perhaps people are not as aware of, that we have tutoring from Connecticut College students for students every day, Monday to Thursday after school from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. It's a very popular program. There's always room to have more kids come in and be helped by these students. We have 2 tutors every day. And a heartwarming thing, 2 weeks ago, a young woman called up herself. She was in 5th grade and looking for
Okay, wait a sec. We'll wait and get everyone properly wired.
The Wizard of Oz.
So we can hear everything, and then we'll,
Behind the table.
yes, pay no attention.
Is that right? Is that good?
That'll probably be good, yeah. Okay,
And a 5th grade girl called herself looking for tutoring help, and I thought, whoa, we really want to help this young woman. But that's one thing that people don't know, and it's so valuable in New London, because it's free. It doesn't cost anything for parents, and it's one-on-one for the kids. So.
now how many kids, students participate in that?
Well, they come every day, so I'm not sure we'd have to do, total them all up, and we do have the numbers somewhere. I didn't bring my big sheet of statistics with me, but it's well attended. Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
on a regular basis?
Yeah, Monday through Thursday, except when they're on vacation, of course. It will be stopping, the middle of December when they.
Okay, are we getting another wire in here?
Yes.
Okay,
And
I guess we're
you
being
can
a
just
little
tell the
amateur.
people in the booth that Deneen will be on 4.
Okay.
I know you just told
Okay,
them that,
so Deneen will be on 4. So you get to see a little bit of backstage. Usually we have all the wrinkles sort of ironed out before the show.
We've
but
never done this before.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah,
Test
okay,
case.
the test case. Okay, now, so that's, what else is available for teens at the library?
Well, for teens, we're just carving out a little teen area to take some of the pressure off the children's room, because we want to be able to accommodate everybody with their interests, and we've applied for some grants. We have some money from the state to work on it. We just got $1,000 from Chelsea Bank Foundation to make that furniture over there, and it's more computers and a computer bench. So we do have programming. We have 1 program a month for the teens, and it's the last one that I saw was making something out of duct tape. Who would know the things you can make? It's a really nice.
Sounds fun.
It is, and it's very popular now. And the duct tape isn't the kind of green, gray
No,
look.
there are all
No.
kinds of
Right.
patterns.
Yes, yeah.
Duct tape, prom gowns and prom outfits and so on.
Amazing.
Some of them are quite nice.
And even the young boys
Oh, yes.
doing
yes,
it with them,
yes.
taking a little way to close up the little bag. Great. So we have things
Oh,
like
yeah.
that once a month for the teens. Yeah, and they're certainly welcome to use the tutoring also, and the computers, and a safe place for them to be. Supervision, but not too much supervision.
Right.
Yeah.
That seems like a great age to be appealing to also, because I imagine that it's a natural age where going to the library might fall off naturally.
Exactly. That's why it's important to have interesting programs that bring them there. But
Yeah,
of course, our computers are always so much in demand by the teens also.
So you have computers both on both sides, the adult side and the kids side?
And also in the preschool area, we have 4 excellent, they're called All Computers, completely self-contained, bilingual, very interactive with the parents, nothing jams, made for little hands, and that's in our farthest room. We have 3 rooms, kind of divided by the age group, and that's very popular. Yeah.
And the teen program is one that we had targeted since Suzanne arrived. And it has become much more popular, I'd say, since we have been able to hire a bilingual library worker and somebody who has really encouraged the kids to come and do things, especially in the summer. She's really done a great job.
She's really good. You have to have people that like working with the age group they're working with. Like for someone
Right.
else with teens wouldn't work, maybe a teen person with the babies wouldn't. So just getting the right fit for the job, and we have it with Maritza. Yeah, she loves it.
So that's fantastic, and the fact that you have a bilingual person there makes a big difference in our very diverse town.
Right.
Well, she is bilingual, and we also have programs that some of the story times are bilingual, are they not, Suzanne?
Well, they were, but now it's always a staffing problem, so we
Yes.
slipped a little bit on that. We do what we can. Yeah.
Now, so there are teen programs. Now, what do you have for children? I know, looking at the calendar, there's a lot going on in terms of children's programming as well.
Right, we have our regular story times for children. We have programs on Saturday, such as, there's a really fun one coming up. You know, Frozen is the big,
Right.
huge popular thing now. And we're going to
I
have...
have to admit, I haven't seen it, and I'm pretty clueless, but I know that everyone else in the universe has.
Well, we have something almost every Saturday in the children's room, and on December 13th, it's going to be Do You Want to Build a Snowman gift bag, created an Olaf-inspired gift bag from Frozen. We have Frozen Sing-Along coming up. People just can't get enough. If you've been in the toy store lately, people cannot get enough of Frozen. We've shown it a few times, actually. We have a license. Of course, we're a librarian,
Right.
and we're about copyright and protecting authors. And so everything that we show at the library, we have permission to show. We pay a certain amount of money and get a joint, a blanket thing. For not every single, we can't show every single movie. Some of them aren't covered. Right now we have a wonderful program with the Mystic Arts Center after school at 4 o'clock with Art Around the World, and that's a great opportunity for our town to have them come over here and do a weekly program for until going through December. Very
Now, what
popular.
age children is that for?
That's for school age children 10 to 16. Yes, with those professional people from Mystic Arts Center. It's great.
So if people want to do that or have their children do it, do they have to sign up ahead of time? Can they just show up?
Most things you can just show up. Some things have registration, but most are just show up. We love kids. We always have room to accommodate one more child. If there's a really strict limit, it doesn't happen too often. We also have author visits at the library, very traditional authors, but we have two coming up in December. One is Richard Hartice, who is known for his, he has a book coming out called, oh my goodness, it's escaping me, I'm sorry, it's on here. WMD, a memoir. Very interesting, and that's going to be on a Saturday, December 20th, 2 p.m. And we have an author visit coming, which sounds really great also, which is Anna Westbrook. She's been with us before, and her book, this one sounds great, I Will Never Stop Coloring. And the children's librarian's seen it, so that should be really fun. We have, and of course, we have programs over the holidays, the holiday week. We've got Denison Nature Center coming, and then this is our third year we've done this event, Countdown to Noon. Guess when that is? December 31st, and it's like a little
It's like
New Year's Eve party for kids, and it's really well attended, and it's fun for the whole library, but it's for kids.
It does sound fun.
Yeah.
So they're 12 hours ahead of time.
Right.
New Year's Eve celebration.
Don't have to worry about bedtime.
We have a lot of other things besides programs that we do, other services that people don't think of. When they think of books and they think of book groups, we have 5 book groups at the library.
Are they different themes?
Yeah, we have a mystery book club. We have a general book club in the afternoon. We have a supper book club that goes around thematic food related. And then we service book clubs. 75 books a month we get for people from other book groups, which is a great service for people.
I'm guessing if you have 5 clubs, there's quite a bit of participation in all of them.
But pretty much, months go up and down. We also have individual ones. We had Thomas Piketty's book, Capital of the 21st Century. Great book, was a bestseller for months on the bestseller list. And we had a professor from Connecticut College, Ed McKenna, came and talked about that. We had a great turnout for that. Tonight, actually, I came here right from a book club from the Connecticut Humanities about working in the shadows, and it's a very timely subject about immigrant work. A serious book, but we had a good turnout, and we had a facilitator from Connecticut Humanities. So we're still about books, but we also have many other 21st century services.
We do. The usual library things have become the more unusual library things these days. We certainly have e-books. We have DVDs, which are taken out quite a bit. There are different kinds of things you might find. For example, if you were throwing a birthday party for your grandson and he liked Scooby-Doo, you could borrow the Scooby-Doo cake pan that we have, which is not the only cake pan that's available at the library, but it makes it
You
nice.
might have to reserve that in advance,
You
just
may.
in
There's
case
quite a demand.
there's another child.
But there are different kinds of themed cake pans that you can borrow, and then that way you don't have to invest in a cake pan for a 1 or 2 time kind of event. So that's good. We do have that. The library also provides a safe place for supervised visits. You know, a lot of times when there are marital problems and so on, the terms of the settlements have to do with supervised visits. So the library is a good, safe, accommodating place for supervised visits for kids, and it also provides activities to do during
Right.
those visits.
Right.
So that's another thing that people ordinarily don't think about, the kind of safe haven that you can seek in the library as well.
And I think in particular, New London Library just attracts the full range of people in the community. It's welcoming to everyone, really. I don't know if all libraries are like that. I know when we were little, libraries were just places that you were very quiet and you picked out books, and heaven forbid you raise your voice. And they've gotten much livelier over the last 50 years.
They certainly have, and you might want to come by on a Sunday in January. We're going to have an Elvis impersonator walk through the library, because Elvis's birthday is coming up in January, so we're having a birthday cake on his birthday, and I think that will be kind of a noisy time for that half hour when he's here.
And that should appeal to many age groups.
Yes, across the whole range, probably. Well, you mentioned some things like cake pans, that there are a lot of things that and this is sort of back to the theme of how much stuff do we really need. In general, there are things that we need only once a year or a couple times a year that really we don't have to buy and keep on our shelves the other 363 days. And cake pans are, of course, one example. But one thing that the library has is museum passes, correct?
That's right. There are museum passes for most of the museums in this area, and you can get them by reserving them. They go first to New London residents, correct? Mm-hmm. But if you do reserve them, you can save yourself quite a bit of money if you're taking a family to, let's say, Mystic Seaport or the Florence Griswold Museum or Lyman Allen. And what are the other places, Suzanne?
The aquarium.
Oh, the aquarium, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Children. Our most popular one is the Children's Museum in
course,
Niantic.
yeah.
That has the constant waiting list. And in the summer, well, all of the year, but it's mostly only applicable in the summer, is the State Park Pass, which saves a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We
Well,
have 2 of those in the summer. They're so popular.
Back when I was a preschool teacher, I'd actually use those passes as an incentive to get parents to get library cards. Mm-hmm. Because, I would be a member of all these museums, and I could usually bring a guest for free or very low cost. But then if they wanted to go back again, it's like, well, you can pay regular admission, or you can become a member, or you can get a library card. Mm-hmm. And, many people didn't know that kind of thing is available through their public libraries.
It's one of the hidden treasures, I think, of most local libraries. Some of them are passes for free entry. Most of them are reduced entry fee. But whatever you can save if you have a family is really wonderful. And it's a great way of encouraging the cross-pollination that we want between libraries and museums and real-life experiences.
Absolutely.
Another thing we have that I'm not sure, I guess all libraries have it now, is our help we give for people looking for work, for job searching. We have 2 computers that are reserved for that. So people come in and want to use the social media, which is fine, or whatever they want to do with their computers. But if you're seriously looking for a job, we've got those, and I feel really good about that people have access. You can have longer amounts of time on those computers. It's a good asset to the community. We've got that right there. Good quality printing, everything you need.
And there are people who have gotten jobs
Yes,
through using. So we have transformed lives in that way too.
Well, That's, no, that's really helpful. And once again, that's something a person might not need every day, but when they need it, it's
Right.
really important to have it someplace.
Right.
Another thing you might not think about that you need very infrequently in your life generally is a notarized statement. And we do
Right.
provide notary services at the library in English and in Spanish for a nominal fee. So if there is some time that you need something notarized and you can't get it notarized at a bank, many of our patrons don't have bank accounts because they simply don't have the resources to put into a bank. So they can come to our library and have their documents notarized.
Now, I wanted to, we'll go back and talk about some of the other things the library has, but can you mention what the hours of the library are?
Certainly. Our hours are reduced from what they were because, that's how it is in London. We're doing a lot with what we have, but we're open Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're closed Wednesday morning. We're open from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock on Wednesday, Friday from 9:30 to 5, and Saturday from 10 to 4. And then right after, right at the beginning of the new year, for January, February, and March, every Sunday will be open from 1 to 4, and that's thanks to the Shea Foundation, who, thank goodness, funds those Sunday hours because they are so important for families to have a place to go where it's not about being a consumer, it's not about buying something at the mall or spending money to go to movies that are so expensive now. It's coming where you're in a place where you can learn, you can do lots of things at the library, and it's a day of the week that families are a little bit less pressed because Saturday's chores. So I wish we could be open all year on Sundays, but at least we are in those winter months. And we have a program scheduled every week, and some will be children's programs. So that's our hours.
Now, it might be a good time to make a little bit of a pitch. You mentioned the Shea Foundation as a beneficiary, but like everyone who uses the library can contribute to the library in some way.
Well, you don't have to use the library to contribute
Well,
to it
that's
either. As we say, no gift is too large or too small. We do have a way of giving online. If you go to our website through PayPal, we accept checks, we accept cash, we accept gifts in kind if they're the kinds of things that we can use. We are always open to donations, and we depend on them, really. Our last year's effort fell short of what our goal was, but it was still much better than the year before. But every year we start at zero, so we have to get going and get the wheels in motion. And we are just heading up our annual giving drive now. We're a little behind the curve in terms of getting our envelopes and things out, so that's why we'd like to encourage people to not wait for the notice to come in the mail, but give now and beat the December 31st tax deduction date, and to give to us in any way that fits their particular level of giving.
Now, I wanted to ask about, you have a nonprofit resource center, so that it's true the library is a nonprofit, but you also provide a lot of support to other area nonprofits. Can you talk about the resources and the programs available through your nonprofit center?
Certainly. We have access to the Foundation Center's databases. The Foundation Center is out of New York City, and they have grant databases for over 100,000 grantors, and that you can access at the library. You can't do it from home. You need to be at the library to physically use it. And we have training in those databases, 2 a month, one for people who are involved with a nonprofit organization, and another one for individuals that are looking for money for different for school or for other type of artistic projects that they want to do. So that's part of it. We have also a lot of books and journals about nonprofits, like governance of boards, management of nonprofits, fundraising. One story that really warms my heart is a woman came in, part of a small nonprofit that had just gotten off the ground, and she had no experience, but she borrowed a book in fundraising and wrote her first letter and got donations for their group.
Wow.
So that it's a very concrete possibility. Another woman borrowed a book on capital campaigns from the library. This is very recently, and she liked it so much she bought it. So, she didn't want to have to keep borrowing it from the library. So it's a very excellent resource for our nonprofit community. In addition to that, once a month we have training programs coming, such as things on fundraising, annual giving. The one coming up in December is constructing a dashboard, which is a way to put all your statistics together in a way that your board can easily grasp them and move forward, do something with them. And I'm hoping to take that one.
We
can use it.
I could use that also.
We use our own nonprofit resource center.
Right.
But one of the things that's very important about it is that it's one of, how many in the state, Suzanne?
Maybe about 12 in the state.
Right,
We're so respected for having that. People come from all of southeastern Connecticut to use it. We had 75 people at the kickoff of it, and we frequently, it's supported by the Community Foundation. They help pay for the speakers and help set it up. It's very nice. 2 computers reserved for that. It's really a great asset to our larger community, not just New London, but southeastern Connecticut, really.
And as someone who's gone to a couple of the workshops, by no means anywhere near everything that's been presented, it really is helpful information. Very practical and things that you can start getting to work on very quickly, because as you know, I'm also involved with a small nonprofit, and it's not always easy getting funding.
No, you have to find, you have to do a lot of research. You have to find the sources that are going to fund your particular programs. And that's exactly what the databases are about. They save you a lot of time because you can sift according to what your programs are, what you're looking for, what kinds of monies, and who gives what, how often they give it, and what amounts they give, and then what they expect in return. So all of that is very useful information because you can spend a lot of time and effort trying to get some money from an organization and find out that that doesn't hit on their particular objectives. So it is a great time saver in that sense.
Now we have a phone call. Hi, thanks for calling.
Hey, Rona, this is Dennis from New London.
Hi, Dennis.
I got a couple questions for the ladies.
Sure.
I just heard you talking about getting money from different groups and stuff. So you kind of have someone that looks for places, whether it's from the state or the federal government or wherever, to get money for the library. You have someone that does just that job?
We have a grants and a development committee. We have 2 separate committees.
That's what I was looking to hear.
Yes, we do. And we're always looking.
Now, that person, if I ask something you can't answer, I'll understand. But the grant writer that you have, the library pays that grant writer?
We don't have an individual grant writer as such. Grant writing is part of our library personnel's responsibility. Mostly it falls on the shoulders of our director. But we do have board members who have been involved in it as well. But generally speaking, it is the library people who are already working there who have to write the grants because they're generally for programs that they have to deliver eventually. So
part of your job description, if you want to do
That's
a
right.
program, is to figure out how to fund it?
Right. Other duties as assigned is what the kind of blanket job description is. So we do not pay a grant writer as such separately. No, it's all done in-house as part of library duties.
You
Okay,
think,
did that answer?
Do you think you folks could teach the city administration how to do this?
We are trying to learn how to do it very well for ourselves first, but we certainly welcome anyone to come in and try to learn from our experience, which is probably minimal compared to what they have to do.
Well, more than what I think we're getting. But anyways, another thing I wanted to ask you folks is the last 3 years we've had a tax increase in this city, and I'm wondering accordingly, has the money that the city gives to the library, how is that going? I mean, are you getting more money or less money?
Well, for years, for the last 3 years, Suzanne?
We were essentially flat or went down, but
Yeah, we were flat funded for about 3 years because we were doing the austerity program that everyone else did. I think you need to understand, and I think you do understand, that when you are flat funded, you are essentially losing money because the price of everything goes up. So
Yeah, exactly.
flat funding actually means you're in a deficit from the year before. Now, last year we did get a slight increase.
well, about $20,000, yes, which was good, but yeah.
Yeah, our take from the city budget is quite a bit less than other municipalities of our size. We provide a lot of services for very little amount, but of course we depend upon the city council to fund us, and we always have to kind of keep ourselves in the city council's eyes and view. As Rana said at the beginning, everybody expects a library to be there. We take it for granted, but we don't understand that our free library and our free education isn't really free. Somebody
I can't
pays for
imagine
it.
this country or this city or state without a library. I mean, it just, I hope I never see that. And the reason I was asking that question is because, you know, I like to know where my tax money's going, and I would like to see different places get more of the piece of the pie. I mean, if I got to pay taxes, I'd like to see it go to some places that I think are very important. And I think you guys, the library, man, we should be doing more for you folks through the city.
Well, thank you very much
Yes,
for that
glad to
vote
hear
of
that.
confidence. I can tell you right now that for every dollar you give us in the library, or that the city council provides for us in the library, we return $4 worth of value. So it
I
is
know you guys are so important to this city and libraries throughout the country, and I just get a little nervous when I think about when I ever hear I'm at a council meeting, I hear they're cutting you or they don't want to give you money or something. I feel like screaming, but oh well.
well.
All right, folks, I'll hang up in case somebody else is trying to call. Thank you.
Thank you
for
very
calling.
much.
Thank you.
You don't
Yes.
have to rely just on your tax dollars to come to us. You can give to
know.
us at the PLNL through PayPal. Our thrust this year for giving is to restore some of the classics that we have, some of the titles that you may have grown up with, and a very little bit of money goes a long way. So
Do you take
if
donations of books? If somebody has like a brand new hardcover book, they get done reading it and they want to donate it to the library, do you guys do that?
Certainly, we take all donations gladly, with the understanding that we'll first see if we need to add it to the collection. And that's our first choice. If we don't need to add it to the collection, we put it in our friend's book sale, and then it earns money that we can buy other books. Because we do have a limited number of shelf space, and we might not need 4 copies of something that was a bestseller 2 years ago. Because people like to be able to go through the shelves and find something they want. But our first choice is always to add it if it's in good condition and we need it. Yeah, we love donations. Also, you can get a receipt that you donated books to use for your income tax.
Yes,
Alrighty,
because
thanks,
everything is
folks.
tax deductible.
Yes, yes.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
All righty, bye-bye, Rona.
Bye.
I also want to mention that our Friends of the Public Library of New London is a very active group, and if you want to hang on to that book until spring when they do their book sale, you can bring not just that book, but every other book on your shelf that you are done with, and they will gladly accept it, and then they will offer it in their book sale in the
When
spring.
did they start collecting? And I'm thinking about my shelves when I ask that.
Year-round, we collect books and we do have an ongoing book sale. We call it the Book Nook, and it's 2 large bookcases that and we will probably have a few books for Christmas that are really nice kind of coffee table books that we can't recoup we can't recoup what they're really worth at a
Right.
sale. So people tend to donate a bit more when they're buying those that are good enough for a gift for someone. Yeah, that will start probably shortly. But yeah, we do have ongoing, and we have lots of storage space. So anytime you feel like doing and organizing,
Purge. Now, I think I heard something about an adopt-a-book program. Well, is there something something?
Yes, our adopted
Okay,
book.
it started in November, but I don't know what it is.
Well, this is the staff
Good opportunity.
fundraiser. Yes, adopt a book, and the library purchases brand new books from 2014, fiction, nonfiction, a wide array of children's books, Spanish books, children and adult. And we put together a pamphlet, which I should have brought, with all the titles divided by categories. And we ask people in the community to, quote, adopt a book. In essence, it means to buy that book, and then they can be the first person to borrow it. And it saves us all that money. And also, if you have the people on your list that have everything, and as we know there are people who really don't want any more things, they have enough money to buy what they want for themselves. It's a nice a nice practice to buy them a book. And we have beautiful cards that we made that you can send to the person that you're honoring. There's a young lawyer in town, and every year she comes in, and she's a starting out young lawyer. And for her bosses, she buys them all books, children, you know, from the library. And what better gift could there be? There's certainly nothing she could get her boss like that. So it's a very nice gesture. It helps everyone in the community. It helps our budget. And I hope it makes the person feel good that received the book. It's going on until December 24th.
So if people want to do that, is there a list of the books online, or do you have to go into the library and?
There is a list of books online. Everything that's been adopted has a line through it. It's right on the first page of our website. Our website address is here. We do have PayPal, so you can, if there's no line through it, you could call us, say I want this book, and pay through PayPal. You can always send a check. We like checks too. Or you can come in and pick up the book yourself, and look at it. But you would know how much it costs and what category it is from the website.
And people can always donate a particular title, even not during our Adopt a Book program. All you have to do is come to the front desk and say that you would like to buy a certain book for the library and write a check for it. We are willing to do that. We want to encourage giving in that way and giving back, because a book is something that can give to people more than once as it passes along.
And we do put book plates in,
Yes.
adopted in honor of, or in memory of someone, something like that. That goes in every Adopt a Book.
Well, I as you were talking about that, I was thinking about how, there's been a big buy local campaign, because the money you spend locally, multiplies and circulates around your community. Well, that happens to even a greater extent in the library. I mean, if you buy a book, who knows where that book is going to be? It could be anywhere. You mentioned with all the different things you have, there's also interlibrary loan, and I don't know, when I moved here from the West Coast in a big city and had never heard of anything like interlibrary loan, I just thought, what was on the shelves was what you had. How does that work if someone wants to take out a book and you don't have it on your shelves?
Well, that's the wonderful thing about living in Connecticut. With your library card from New London, you can borrow a book from any place in the state. If you go there, if you were, had a summer house someplace else, or were visiting somewhere, you can do that with your card physically. But also, if you look up, and we don't have a book, of course, we're in a network of 25 libraries. So it's very easy. Right from your computer at home, you can look up, we don't have it, but another library in our network does. You just click a button, and that book's on its way to you. And we call you or email you, preferably when it gets there. It's a wonderful service. It doesn't cost anything to the borrowers. And thank goodness it's out there, because every library likes to see their books used. You don't want to see them sitting on the shelf. And we have reciprocal borrowing like that. It doesn't work like if it's a brand new bestseller, you're going to wait a bit more until if someone in that library wants it, which is only fair. Their tax dollars have bought the books. But librarians are generous people, and they want to see people reading them. So some libraries even go outside the state. We don't do that because that does incur costs, pretty substantial costs. But pretty much we can find in Connecticut what you want.
And the nice thing about it is that you can search at home through the internet on your own computer to see if that book is there. You don't have to go to the library itself. You can put a hold and a request for it online, so that you can just go and pick it up when it comes in.
Absolutely.
And you can get into that system and know exactly what library has it.
Right, you go into the New London Library if you have your own card, and you look at the card catalog and so on, and then that will, you punch in the title that you want, and if it's not at New London, it will show you the other places that it is, and you could put a request in for it. So that's really wonderful.
It's almost like a library now, like an unseen library, or you can do that, you can get that. We have magazines you can download right from home with your library card. It's called Zinio. And there's all sorts of magazine titles that
Magazines are expensive now too,
Very expensive, yes.
So if you can download a magazine, you've saved yourself that amount of money, and especially if you like to get it on a regular basis, you've saved a lot of money, $70 or $100 a year.
Like The Economist, which is pretty pricey, but is probably the best journal out there, So that's pretty amazing.
So how long has Zinio been available? Is it a fairly new service, or has it been around?
We've had it now for almost a year, yes, but we should start again doing some more publicity about it because people really don't know. And people that are using it are so happy and they say, oh my goodness, you know, 'cause there's no return dates on it. You put it onto your tablet or your computer and read it when you can, your phone even if you want. Yep.
Do you
And of
find
course-
that more and more people are putting things on their tablets? And
Yeah, we have ebooks. We can't even keep up with how popular ebooks are for people. We're in our network, and they get bought, but it's phenomenal.
It's wonderful
popularity.
too, because, well, the ebooks do have a certain life on your
Right.
tablet, but for things like the magazines, as you've talked about, Suzanne, those are things that you can keep on the tablet and you can go back and look at it. And the nice thing about it is they're not cluttering up your living room. You don't have to take them
Right.
out. You don't have to recycle them or anything like that. But with the ebook, you have to be aware that it only has a certain, 2 weeks usually? 3 weeks?
It depends.
It's ephemeral. In other words,
Yeah.
you know, you'll forget that you haven't read it and you'll go back to find it, and what do you know? It's not there any longer. So you haven't spent anything for it, so all you have to do is ask to borrow it again if it's your turn to get it. So that's a good thing about it. And there are a lot of people who like to put books on their e-readers for when they travel, because that way you have a very lightweight companion that has all kinds of different things on it, and you don't have to trudge around with. Books are very heavy. You know, 3 or 4 books in a bag can really weigh you down. So that makes it easier.
And we haven't even talked about audiobooks. They used to
No.
be sort of like the stepchild of a
Right.
book. You know, it's not really a book, but they are coming into their own now. And some authors are releasing books just on audiobook. It's unbelievable,
Wow.
some of the best-selling authors. It's almost like that human part of us that likes to sit around the fire and hear stories. You know, or like what radios were for the generation before
right.
us. Because they have sometimes different voices. It's almost
do.
like drama. Or even if it is one reader, they're so talented that there's no problem following the dialogue. I just listened to Lila by Marilyn Robinson, and it's kind of a stream of consciousness. There's no chapters. And my friend read it and had a lot of trouble distinguishing from what was going on. But the reader had, of course, read it many times, and I had no trouble because
Wow.
it followed it beautifully. It's beautifully written, and it's an audio experience, free at the free when you at the library. You might have to wait a bit. Like my sister just read Goldfinch.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
that's a very
and
popular one.
And it's 700 as you exercise, a lot of exercising.
That's for when you're taking a very long drive.
Right, or So the advantage is that things are free at the library, and you can save a lot of money.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe we should talk a little bit. We've been seeing this T-shirt you're wearing. So I think they're pretty new. I just
They are-
barely started seeing them around town. So talk about the T-shirt.
They are brand new. We have a community support committee that we have put together at the library to kind of help raise awareness about what we do and what our mission is. And one of the things that we thought was really essential was to become more visible. Now, the library itself is not going to move from its honored place on the corner of Huntington and
Right.
State Streets, but the arches are very distinctive and very recognizable. So we had them printed on the T-shirt, and a number of us have started to wear them. And actually, Rana, we have brought you one here today
Oh,
to thank
excellent. Thank
you. To
you.
thank you for inviting us here so that you too
Oh,
can
great.
be
Yes.
a mobile unit for
Yes.
awareness for the Public Library of New London. We've started to show up in different civic meetings. There are a group of us who will attend city council meetings just to become more participatory in our democratic
Right.
system. And it's beginning to identify us some as members of the library groupies. It's one of the things that we thought that we could do to raise awareness and also raise spirit. Suzanne, why don't you talk a little bit about T-shirt Friday that you
Oh.
have with the...
With the staff, yes, we started having Casual Friday, and the staff that was the Friday before Thanksgiving, and the whole staff had them on. And then, of course, Friday after Thanksgiving, we're closed. So we'll see this week. It's fun to be able to put on something a little more casual for work, and it just was a great feeling of camaraderie. And people came in and asked. And at that point, we weren't selling them yet to the public. We're just getting ready to sell them to the public.
Yes.
For the $10.
So if the public wants to get hold of these, do they have to order them ahead, or how does that work? Or do they just have to wait for a little while?
Well, we bought a very limited supply for a first round to see how they would come out and see how they would go over, and I think that we might have a bestseller on our hands. And in that case, we do have a few sizes left. We have to talk with the committee tomorrow about the ones that are left right now from our initial group. And we would take orders if people want them. You could order them in whatever size you want. And we would see about getting another run printed out. They are available for a nominal fee, and most of that goes to the library. And it's a good way of giving and getting. You know, people usually like to get something for what they give.
Sure. But this way, of course, when you walk around, everyone knows that you want to support the library.
Yes, absolutely. And there's not anybody who's going to get offended by the library, I hope. It's not like wearing team colors or anything like that.
Right.
Everybody is in favor of the library.
Yeah, we just need to support it.
That's right. We have to be more aware that it's free because people do pay for it in ways that are invisible. Your taxes and donations. And the donations are really very important to us for keeping our collection alive.
And we have a huge number of volunteers. We have averaged 51 hours of volunteer work a week at the library.
Wow.
That's huge. People are very generous with their time, from doing, putting books away to helping in the office, helping, looking for lost books on the shelf. It's really wonderful. We have a very respectable number of hours given.
And if
Thank the
someone wants
community.
to volunteer, how do they get in touch with you?
They call the library and ask for the person responsible for the volunteers. We do ask to come in and have an interview and fill out a paper, and then we see how to fit your schedule and your talents along with our needs.
Well, we have 4 minutes left. So
Oh, no.
yeah, I don't know if there's anything we missed. I think we
Well-
did most of what we wanted to, but I guess let people know what's coming up. And actually, I think Deneen has
I do.
a presentation
I've been
today.
talking all along about it being Giving Tuesday and encouraging folks to give to the library. So I want to put my money where my mouth is, which is a considerable size. So I want to present Suzanne with
Whoa.
my annual giving gift to the library. So come on, folks. I've oiled the skids. It's up to you now to do your part. No
Too bad we
gift.
can't pass a
Too bad we
pan
can't turn
around.
this
No
around
gift is
here.
too small or too large.
Right. What was that?
Yeah, hold up.
Oh, it's great.
yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
you don't want me to show the...
No, you don't have to show the
I'm
amount.
just very
No.
happy.
That would be-
Wow, it's amazing. And I can say what we would like to do better
Yes,
with
absolutely.
with the donations is that in New London, we really, we have our staff and we man the desks at the library, but because that takes all the resources we have, we really can't do enough outreach, and that's the key in New London. We want to help bridge the word gap that we know that some of our younger children have when they arrive at school,
Right.
and it has to be done when they're, as you know, as a preschool
Right.
teacher, we really want to regularly be doing outreach to the nursery schools, the daycare centers, the family centers, the home daycare centers, reading stories, bringing brand new books to leave with
Right.
the daycare caregivers so that they'll have new things to read each week. That's so important, and we just can't do it now. We need to be open more hours because we've cut back our hours. Those big, beautiful windows of the library, if they could be open a little bit longer at night, to help people be able to have
Right.
meetings there. We definitely need more materials, which is what a lot of our annual giving to. And we need more technology classes for people that are, that need to don't have email addresses, that don't know how to use Word and Excel. And we need to get some more learning databases to teach people how to take an Excel course, to learn a language. They're all authenticated by what library you live in. Like Waterford has them, but you can't go there from New London and use them. So we have many, many needs. And we're doing a lot with what we have, but money goes a long way if you donate to the library.
Well, thank you both very much. And everyone, you can find out lots of information at the website, NLPL.org. And we'll see you all at the library. Next week, Bill Wernow is going to be our guest, and he's going to talk about heifer. And then in 2 weeks, we have people, representative from Safe Futures. So we're going to continue on every Tuesday being Giving Tuesday from now till the end of the year. So thank you very much, and I'll see you at the library.
Thank you.
Well, we're honored
Thank
to be
you.
in that group, Rana. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
quite the company. Thank you.
I thought that I must be dreaming when I saw bright lights in the sky. Apocalyptic clouds were splitting, and I saw my life pass before my eyes. I thought everything would be black and white, instead of every shade of gray. I discovered St. Peter is a woman. She stared at me when it was my turn. I thought of every woman I'd known. That is to say, in a biblical sense. I knew I didn't have much time. Everything was in shades of black and white. I know it would be different if I had a chance to relive it. I would change the end if I could.